everyone, I'm Mrs. Turney, a third grade teacher at Delaware. Today for our lesson, our secret word is ocean, and we're actually going to be doing a skill that we work on in second and third grade today, and it's telling time to the nearest minute and nearest 5 minutes. And then we're also going to use a strategy to solve some word problems. Before we get started, we are going to take some time to do some deep breathing exercises to get our minds ready to learn and get our bodies calm and ready to focus. So what I would like for you to do, I call this cupcake breathing, and we're going to take 5 deep breaths, okay? And what I want you to do is when you take that deep breath in, we're going to go in through our nose so it looks like this. And then we're going to pretend like we have a cupcake with a birthday candle lit on it, and we're going to blow it out. So we're going to go in through our nose, and then we're going to blow it out all the way. And we're going to do that 4 more times. Ready? In through your nose, and then out through your mouth, blowing that candle out. 3 more. 2 more. You can even imagine you are blowing a dandelion and all the seeds are coming off, or a pinwheel, or whatever you'd like to imagine. In through your nose, and then blow it out. And 1 more time. In, and then blow out that candle. All right, now that we're calm and we are ready to learn, we're going to move on to our next slide. Like I said, we're going to be telling time to the nearest minute. So our objectives are I can tell time and write time to the nearest minute. I can find the elapsed time when given start and end times. So we're going to figure out how long it takes to do something. And we work on this in second and third grade. So looking up here, we do this step by step, okay? So I'm going to show you the different parts. We have our analog clock up here, and for step 1, we're always going to focus on the hour hand. On here, it's highlighted pink, so we can see that the hour hand is the shorter hand on the clock, and you always read it first. We always say the hours first. And we count by ones, meaning when we look at the numbers on the clock, we have 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and so on. We always count by ones. When we look at the last number that the hour hand has passed to figure out what hour it is. So if we're looking up here, we can see that the hour hand is a little bit past the 8. But it hasn't reached that 9 yet. So we never, ever go to that bigger number. You always want to go with that smaller number. Okay? Our second step is going to be to look at the minute hand. It's highlighted blue up here to show exactly where it is on the clock. It's the longer hand. And we start at 12. We always start at 12. And that is our O clock. The 00 is o'clock, and that's how we always read that. And we can count by 5s as far as we can go. So when it's on the 1, that's 5 minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20, and we continue going all the way around until we get to that 12, which is our o'clock again. You can also switch and count by 1s, remembering that each one of our tick marks on here represents 1 minute. So if you count each one of these marks up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, when you get to that 1, you have 5 minutes past the hour. Okay. Again, this is my little cheat sheet that I like to look at. Up here, I have my counting by 5s around the clock right next to my 1 so that you can see it. It says the top of the clock again is your starting point for counting, and it's always 00, which means o'clock. The bottom of the clock is always halfway or half past the hour. Sometimes you can read your time as half past the hour. So it's always 30, and that's going to come after the dots or the decimal or the colons on the digital time. That's 30 minutes, and we can see that by going 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So I like to kind of remember this and what this looks like. Now, we do have different kinds of clocks. This is a clock that we normally see maybe in our classrooms hanging up on the wall, or maybe at home. I know I have an old grandfather clock that has an analog clock to it. And it's called an analog clock because it has moving hands. It has our hours and our minutes to show you the time. On the other side, this is the one that you probably see more often on computers, maybe on your phones, maybe you have an alarm clock at home. And this is our digital time. And it always display it, we use it showing our hours first and our minutes second. So this number over here, which I will be referring to later on, are our hours that we read first. And this is what we read second, our minutes, and that's showing 8:15. Both of these are showing 8:15. Now we're going to watch a quick video on how to tell time to the nearest minute.
Let's look at this clock and see if we can tell what time is shown on it. First thing, when we look at a clock, we have two hands, and that's because time is told in two parts. Time is told in hours, that's part, and on a clock, the hours are represented by the shorthand, and then the other part is minutes. And on an analog clock like this one, minutes are represented by the longhand. So let's look first at hours. We have this shorthand, and it's between the 6 and the 7. What that means is it's after 6 o'clock, but not quite 7. Because the hour hand started at the top and it worked its way around and it's gone past 6 o'clock, but it's not 7. So it's 6 something. It's 6 something. It might be 6:15, might be 6:45. We'll figure out the minutes next. But we know it's after 6 o'clock, but not a 7. So we'll put a 6 in our hours place. Then for minutes, we have this longer hand, which is pointing right here at this mark. And minutes, again, start at the top and work their way around, but now each of these little spaces is 1 minute. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when we get to this first square, this first where this 1 is, we've gone 5 minutes. Let's keep going like that. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 at this next one. And maybe you see a pattern here. Every time we get to one of these numbers, or the squares, the bigger marks, we've gone 5 more minutes. So if we keep going, this will be 15 minutes past the hour. Keep going, 20. Keep going, 25. Now we can't go all the way to the 6 because our minute hand stopped here. It hasn't reached this part. So after 25, we'll go back to counting by ones, the 1 minute. We have 25, 26, 27. The minute hand has gone past 27 of these marks, meaning it is 27 minutes past the hour. Let's try another one. The hour hand is between the 4 and the 5, which means it's after 4 o'clock. It's some amount of minutes after 4, but it is not yet 5. And now let's look at our minute hand. The longer hand represents minutes. So the minute hand started at the top and it's gone 5, 10, 15, not quite to 20. So let's go back to 15 and then count by ones, 16, 17, 18, 19. Our minute hand lines up to 19. So it is 19 minutes after 4, or 4:19. On this one, I encourage you to pause the video and see if you can figure out the time. Okay, let's try it together now. So the hour hand between the 7 and the 8. So it's after 7, but not quite 8. And by looking at the hour hand, we can see it's quite a bit after 7 because it's almost to 8. And looking at the minute hand confirms that. The minute hand's gone all the way to here. It's almost back to the top. And that minute hand, starting at the top, has gone 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and then one more, 46 minutes past 7. The time is 7:46.
So now that we've seen some examples of telling time to the nearest minute, we're going to do some together. Let's take a look at the first one. Notice that I have step 1, step 2, and step 3. We're going to do these in order. And the first step is to figure out our hour hand, which, if we remember, is the shorter hand. Okay, so if I look over here, our shorter hand, that hour hand, is a little bit past the 1. If I extend it just a little bit, it's a little bit past the 1, but it's not yet to the 2. So our hour is going to be 1. That's our 1. Okay, now let's take a look at our minute hand. If we're telling time to the nearest 5 minutes, then we are going to have kind of an estimate or about what time it is. Because if you notice, our minute hand is not exactly on this 2. Okay, and our 5s are listed here, 5, 10, 15, 20. Those are all of our 5s. So if we're telling time to the nearest 5 minutes, we would look right here and we would be able to count 5, 10. So it's about 10 minutes, which means our time is about 1:10. However, if we are telling time to the nearest minute, which will give us our exact time in the situation, we still start by counting our 5s. So 5, 10, but just like in the video, once we get to this 10, it's just one more past the 10, which is 11. So the exact time here, or our minutes, would be 11, and our exact time, sorry guys, the exact time would be 1:11, okay? All right, let's try another one, and this time I want you to try to do it on your own, and then I will walk through it and we will see if we've got the right answer. So just take a minute to think through each step of the hour hand, where's the minute hand, and then finally, what is the complete time? All right, so remembering that the hour hand is the shorter hand, we're gonna look right here and we see that it is not quite to that 7. And if you remember from the very beginning of the lesson, we never go to the bigger number. We always stick with the smaller one. Okay, so our hour is going to be 6. Okay, now let's focus on that longer hand, the minute hand. All right, we see that it is past the 10, not quite to the 11. And if we count all the way around, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So 10 is our 50-minute mark. And then we switch to 1s, 51, 52, 53. So our minutes are going to be 53. And we're going to write that as 6:53. Okay? Now, if we're doing this to the nearest 5 minutes, we can see that it is closer to the 11. Okay, the minute hand is closer to the 11. So we still have 6, but now instead of doing 53 minutes, we're going to say, well, it's almost to the 11, so it's about 6:55. Okay, so we have to the nearest 5 and then to the nearest minute, which gives us our exact time. How did you guys do? Did you get it right? I bet you did. All right, so now we're going to take that skill and we are going to put it together with another step, and that is a real world problem. Okay, so right now, I'm going to read the problem to you. We are going to draw it on our clock to show that we can identify and write time, and then we're going to work on solving the problem. It says, An Olympic cross-country skier started her race at 5 o'clock p.m. Remember, p.m. is nighttime. And finished at 5:30 p.m. How long did it take the skier to finish her race? All right, so if she started her race at 5, we're going to draw that on our analog clock right now with our hour hand being our shorthand. On 5 o'clock exactly, so it's going to be right on the 5. And we know that o'clock is our starting point, so our minute hand is going to be right up here at the 12. And then what time did she finish? 5:30. So that minute hand, the hour hand, the shorthand, is going to be past the 5 because we're not right at 5 o'clock. And then we know our 30-minute mark is always at the bottom, so 5:30 is right here. Okay, so if you know that your minutes are 0 to 30, the question says, how long did it take the skier to finish her race? So if we start here with our minutes and we finish here on the other side, we could just do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It took 30 minutes to finish the race, okay? When you get to 3rd grade, we start using what we call a number line, and you guys might have already seen this as well. What I like to do is I like to write my start time here, 5 o'clock p.m., and then my end time is over here, 5:30 p.m., and since we don't just do to the nearest half hour in 3rd grade, we do all time, anytime you could have. We practice doing hops to represent our minutes. And for today, we're going to keep it with our 5-minute hops. So we could do, from our start time, 5, and I like to label it, 10, 15, 20, 25, and there's that 30 minutes. Okay, so it took us, if we added up each 5-minute hop, we would still get that 30 minutes. Okay, so either way you would like to solve this one would be perfectly fine as long as you knew that it took 30 minutes. Let's try another one. Okay, so this one says the Indiana Pacers played on ESPN tonight. The game ended at 9:45 p.m. So that's our end time. I'm going to go ahead and write it down here so I don't forget that information. If you have your paper pencil out with you, I encourage you to follow along and do the same thing I'm doing. If the game started at 7:10 p.m., how long did it last? Well, the first thing we're going to do over here is write it on our analog clock. So our start time is 7:10, which means our hour hand, that short hand, is going to be right around the 7. And we know this is 5 and this is 10. So the minute hand is going to go all the way to that 2, which is our 10-minute mark. And that's what that looks like. And we've written it digitally down here, showing that we can do that. And our end time is 9:45. So 9:45, in my brain, I know that that's closer to 10, so my hour hand is not going to be directly on the 9, okay? And then I count by my 5s. I can go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. 45 is right on the 9, so my minute hand, the longer hand, is going to be stretching out all the way to that 9. And that's what it looks like on an analog clock, and we've also written it digitally down here. Now we can do our jumps to figure out how much time it's taken. Okay, so if it's 7:10, I always start with my hours. If I do 1 hour, 7 plus 1 is 8. So I'm going to make a 1 hour jump, and that's going to be 8, and our minutes do not change. 10, Can I do another hour hop? Will that put me past 9:45? It won't. I can do it. So I'm going to do another hour hop. And that's going to put me at 9:10. Now we're going to switch to our minutes, and I like to hop by 10s as long as I can, and then I switch it. So I could do a 10-minute hop, and that's going to put me at 9:20. And we got to go all the way to this 45. Do another 10-minute hop. That's going to put me at 9:30. Another 10-minute hop is going to put me at 9:40. I'm so close. I cannot hop 10 more minutes. I can do 5 though. So I'm going to do a little 5-minute hop. And that's going to put me at our end time, which is 9:45. So how long did it take? Well, we have 1 hour and 1 hour, which is 2 hours. And I'm using abbreviations on here for my hour. How many minutes? Well, we have 10, 20, 30 plus 5 is 35 minutes. So it took the Pacers 2 hours and 35 minutes to play their game. Okay, so looking for some extension activities to do at home. Again, you guys can make your own clock. Okay, use a paper plate, draw it on paper, draw it outside on the sidewalk, label all the parts. You could use popsicle sticks or crayons for your hands and practice telling time that way. I know we've all been at home lately a lot. We could plan a fun day out with our families. Think about what you could do if you had a fun trip. List your start and end times, and then use our line diagram to see how long it's taken us to do those activities. You always can create your own word problems, and do some baking with an adult, of course. You can use your clock to find out how long it's going to take you to bake something. So again, thanks for listening. Remember that code word is ocean, so don't forget to tell your teachers that secret word. Thank you.